On the front lines in the Liman area, the roar of battle once again tells a dramatic story of the destruction of the Russian occupying forces. SIGNUM drone units, one of the most feared elements on the battlefield. Whenever the shadow of one of these drones appears in the sky, fear becomes the invader's constant companion. For them, no place is truly safe, whether on the highway, in the dense forest, or inside their armored vehicles. The story begins when a Bukhanka, an old Russian minibus, often used to transport supplies and troops, passes along a dirt road in the Liman area. In the distance, the SIGNUM operator has locked onto its target. In a matter of seconds, the precision-guided FPV drone soars low, through the trees, and heads straight for the vehicle. A loud explosion immediately shakes the area, cutting off the Bukhanka's path and sending a clear message. Every enemy vehicle in this area is waiting to be destroyed. But the drama wasn't over. Deep in the forest, a SIGNUM drone's camera captured the panicked figure of an enemy soldier, running frantically, trying to escape the wings of death buzzing behind him. Every step felt futile, as the drone followed relentlessly, like a bird of prey stalking its prey, leaving no room for hiding. The escape ended tragically. A crushing blow sealed the invader's life among the trees of Liman. Another equally gripping moment occurred on a city street. A Russian vehicle suddenly stopped, and a soldier jumped out in panic, trying to escape the threat from the air. He hurriedly sought cover, running to the side of the road in the faint hope of escape. But it was all but an illusion. The SIGNUM drone remained steadfast in its pursuit until another explosion ensured his escape was futile. For the SIGNUM operators, this was no mere battle, but part of a systematic strategy to destroy the enemy's morale and fighting power. The scenes seem straight out of a modern war movie, the constant hunt, the explosions, and the panic of the enemy. But this wasn't a Hollywood production. It was the harsh reality for Russian troops on the front lines. SIGNUM drone operators in the Liman area worked with discipline, precision, and determination, the eyes and hands of death, bringing each invader closer to their fate. On the 9th of September, Ukrainian forces discovered massive Russian troop concentrations by infiltrating security camera networks near key bases, then launched preemptive strikes that destroyed entire convoys before they reached the battlefield. Here, Ukrainian forces uncovered a massive Russian buildup by hacking into security camera networks near key Russian bases, discovering huge forces being amassed for the next wave of the offensive operation. Acting immediately, Ukrainians unleashed all available missiles and drones, devastating the convoys before they could ever reach the battlefield. The last Russian push toward Dobropilya ended in disaster, as understrength formations rushed in without proper artillery or armor support and were torn apart in a devastating Ukrainian ambush. Now, the Kremlin is trying again. This time, Russia is redeploying full-strength brigades meant to spearhead through the Ukrainian encirclement. The main force is led by the 155th and 40th Naval Infantry Brigades, with airborne units from the 11th Brigade and elements of the 76th Division joining the push, originating from the Kursk, Bakhmut, and Kherson sectors. These are units that Russia has leaned on before to make high-risk breakthroughs. The 155th in particular has had to be reconstituted at least 13 times, most recently after disastrous losses at Kursk, making it one of the most repeatedly shattered units of the war. As Russian offensive efforts in these sectors are stalling, their success is being sacrificed, and their forces redirected to the Pokrovsk front, trying to salvage a losing battle now unfolding at the Dobropilya salient. Ukraine is not waiting for this second wave to reach the front. Just like with the earlier ambush, they are intercepting Russians in transit. Ukrainian cyber teams have been tasked with hacking into Russian traffic and security camera systems across occupied regions. This gives Ukrainian forces real-time visual data on Russian convoy routes, timing, and staging areas, without having to rely on satellite or drone surveillance. Once spotted, loitering munitions like the RAM-2X are launched to intercept Russian vehicles in transit, hitting them before they can reach the front. These are compact drones designed for convoy ambushes, capable of identifying moving vehicles, circling overhead, and then diving directly onto soft targets with devastating precision. Over the past week, Russian channels have repeatedly complained about these strikes, particularly in the Donetsk region. The videos show multiple trucks and armored vehicles being hit while in transit, often in areas far behind the front line. For Russia, this is a serious problem. Reinforcements are being lost before they can even enter combat, and unlike shelling or drone attacks near the front, these strikes are taking place in the deep rear zones previously assumed to be safe. Those that do survive the redeployment face a second wave of attacks, as Ukrainian units are now launching coordinated clearing operations the moment new Russian troops arrive in rushed fashion. Footage from the 93rd Mechanized Brigade shows Ukrainian scouts advancing into a contested village under the cover of a T-80 BVM tank, flushing out remaining Russian defenders and methodically clearing the area. The tank does not just provide firepower, it also acts as mobile cover for advancing infantry, allowing them to move through open areas and clear buildings at close range. Once the area is secured, follow-on elements move in to stabilize the line. Then comes the third phase, rapid assault by elite formations, as footage from the Azov Brigade's Spear Group shows them advancing under fire in tight formation, pushing through tree lines and debris fields to reach enemy strongpoints. The footage shows that they do not engage in drawn-out firefights, instead moving rapidly under close coordination with each other and drone overwatch, using aggression and overwhelming force to break what remains of the Russian line. Overall, Ukraine is no longer waiting for Russian offensives to form, as reinforcements are now seen as not a future threat, but as targets in motion, tracked and intercepted before they